Friday. How's it going, y'all? Lunch and news with DotSale. Let's get into it. Yeah. I don't even know where we're at. It's like almost 2 months in. Every single day. We don't take a day off. Not under any circumstance. And I'm glad that y'all are here. Anybody that's been here the majority of the time, I appreciate you more than you know. And we're going to keep it going. We ain't going to stop under any circumstance. Even after we reach the top, we're going to still keep going. And I want to start doing some special things for y'all. I just got to, we just got to continue to build up. And now I want to start, being able to give back, do some giveaways, different things like that. Not a raffle or anything like that. I never want to siphon money out of the people. I always want to find a way to give back. My whole thing is to, when you come here, I want you to leave with more knowledge, being a better person, having a better understanding of things than when you came in. That's always my goal. And, I will become successful while helping you become successful and helping you have a different perspective, even if it's the smallest and slightest tweak. And even through these shows, I've learned a lot. I've gotten a lot better in everything that I've done up to this point. So, I hope that's the same way for everyone else. And of course, I already do my due diligence to y'all because I feed you every single day, no matter what. And that is not going to stop today. So we're going to have kind of like a snack, and then we'll have, I don't know if you want to call this a meal, but we're Halloween themed. So, Halloween never has been about just going healthy all the way. So that's kind of how the food's been playing out. And, going into November, we'll get back into some of our healthy stuff the majority of the time. But right now, we are going to have nachos. I don't know. Taco Bell sound? Did that work? All right, so we're going to have spiderweb taco dip. This probably ain't necessarily unhealthy, though, either. It's got guac in there. Some cheese, though. Tomatoes. Let's check it out.
This spiderweb taco dip is the ultimate appetizer for Halloween. First, layer warm refried beans on the bottom of your dish. Then spread on the guacamole. Add on the cheese, tomatoes, olives, and green onion around the edges, and then move on to the web. Pipe the sour cream in 3 circles and drag a knife outwards to form the web. Grab some tortilla chips or veggies for dipping and enjoy. This spiderweb taco dip is the ultimate appetizer for...
So we got this one, but I want to give y'all one more. So you got some options, all right? And again, we can always make this plant-based or vegan. So if you ever want to exchange the cheese and make it plant-based cheese, there's plenty of options out there. Plenty of options, all right? But we are also going to do pizza. Let's get into it. So she makes the pizza out of I like the sauce. I like a lot of sauce. Those are fun. Those are absolutely fun. And I'm sure when you bite into it, it's going to be like, it's kind of like a calzone. If anybody remembers a calzone, that's kind of like what it is. But that is very clever, actually. We're seeing some very clever meals. So as we get closer to Halloween coming up, you got a lot of different options. If you want to look back at the beginning of all our shows, there's a lot of different options for Halloween meals. That'll be really fun, especially if you got kids. But even if not, we are grown adults over here. Like 100%, we are grown adults. I don't know. My inner child just has not left me at this point, and I don't think it ever, actually, I know it never will. And actually on Monday, I want to have a discussion. I might actually do it in a standalone video. So make sure you check out the videos that I put out outside of the live streams on this channel, because I talk about some different topics and I get a little more detailed in those videos. So, it's real fun. But I want to talk about this situation where this woman had a really she was really upset at her husband or boyfriend. I can't remember which one. We're gonna talk about it, but he kind of was still into gaming and having fun, and she hated him for that, like literal hate, like was super upset about it. And so we're gonna get into that, but we'll talk about it on Monday for sure. But you might even hear some over the weekend, so be in tuned outside of the live streams. All right, so go ahead and help yourself. Hold on, let me acknowledge the chat real quick. You'll have both. So you're gonna have, okay, we can go back to it real quick. So you're gonna have the skull pizzas, and
This
you're gonna have
spiderweb
the
taco dip is the
spiderweb taco dip. All right, I like it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, look how it opens up too. That's pretty good. I'll leave that there actually, just like that. Yeah, that's a very, very fun meal. Well, help yourself to as much as you like. Help yourself to as much as you like, Lola. You are always welcome. You are always welcome. I should throw a salad in there too, but you know how it goes. All right, I want to talk about a few things because, you know, we're seeing what's going on with gambling, and a lot of people begin to demonize people, specifically a lot of the players that were indicted or involved in a lot of these scams and rings. But I think it goes deeper than that. And it's one of the things that I want to discuss because, you know, when we look at gambling as a whole, and we'll go into Chauncey Billups being walked out of the courthouse, we'll get a still image of Terry Rozier, and we'll look at a couple of other things. But my thing is this, right? And actually, I do want to go back. Let me see if I can pull up my own video. There's a part of the video I want to go to. I'm going to pull that up on the side. Actually, let me do that real quick. There's a part of my video I want to go to. Hold on. Here, and we'll look at a couple of other... No, not this video. My past video. Because I want to look at something the FBI director said, and it's going to lead into what I want to talk about surrounding this whole situation. So let me actually go YouTube to my own video. Let me see if I can find this woman director. Okay, we're going to go to my video real quick. So we talked about this yesterday, and this is kind of a part 2 to it. So let's go ahead and go. We can go here. We can see me yesterday. I want to play her stuff again. Hold on. Let's have some fun with it. All right, check it out. This is crazy. No, not
Nothing but bet exposed a gambling ring built around professional basketball, where players and associates allegedly used inside information to manipulate prop bets on major sports betting platforms. They placed wagers on unders on players to score less, rebound less, assist less, using information that was not yet public. In some instances, players altered their performance or took themselves out of games to make sure that those bets paid out. One example occurred on March 23rd, 2023 in Charlotte. Terry Rozier, an NBA player now with the Miami Heat, but at the time playing for the Hornets, allegedly let others close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics.
Wow.
Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity. As a result of this investigation, 6 defendants, including Rozier, are...
So I just want to stop it there and go back to how these people are acting like they're doing something incredible, like they're making these huge discoveries as far as sports betting goes. And I just want to talk about sports betting in general and the fallout that comes along with it, but also that none of these people are good. The gamblers, the end users that are at the bottom that are placing these wagers are not good individuals for doing it. They are not innocent. They're not being taken advantage of. And the reason why is because if you look at gambling from a standpoint of everybody wants to get inside information, which is one of the reasons that there are handicappers. Handicappers are a person that basically they will do all the analytics and do all the data mining and try to figure out what the best bet is to put your money on. And most of the time, if you want to learn about making the right bet, find a handicapper and never pay for them because they're scams. But take the opposite of whatever they pick, because the truth is that analytics make a difference, but they cannot tell you what's going to happen. The analytics had no idea that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going to score 52 yesterday. Shai Gilgeous didn't even know he was going to score 52 yesterday because he has no idea how the game is going to be played beforehand. Now, they could have all concocted this together as a collective, but the thing is, if you're gambling on it to begin with, all you're going to say is if you win, well, I'm glad I was on the right side. You don't care if these people are scamming. You just want to be in on the scam as a gambler. And that's where I have a lot less sympathy for anybody that's lost in any of these situations. This really comes down to the big fish, the casinos. They don't like that they are getting cooked. All right. This all comes back to the money. Now, I want to talk about a little bit of how, and we'll go back to the main screen for this, because I don't even need her on the camera. Let me go off. Yeah, let's go there. So the main thing with this is the way that they push all of these gambling sites. All right. So these players are actually forced to see all of this. They have no time. And some people say, well, they don't need to be on social media anyways. What's LeBron doing scrolling Twitter? What's Durant doing, being on all of these different sites? Let's say that they said, you know what, we're going to shut down our social media, which many players do, especially in the playoffs. A lot of players shut down their social media. These players can't even watch game film without it being pushed in their face. We seen the video yesterday, and if you haven't seen yesterday's video, it's definitely a must watch. But on there, you seen ESPN talking about this gambling situation, and at the bottom of the screen where they have the rolling scores and everything that's going along at the bottom of the screen, they actually removed it, right? Because they had their sports betting application being promoted at the bottom, and they knew it'd be a bad look to talk about all of the corruption and gambling, but also be advertising at the same point at that time. Now, if we continue to look at this situation, we'll understand that even when the players want to look at game film, let's say they want to pull up ESPN, NBC, Amazon, TNT, whatever the case is, and they want to watch their player film, during the actual game, you'll have a guy like Charles Barkley pop in to the game and say, the current live betting odds at this time is the Golden State Warriors +5. They started the game at -5. And they'll sit there and promote this to your face. They're at the games in the stadium. If anybody's been to a game, they got advertisements all throughout the stadium. They got Bet365, Bovada, DraftKings, FanDuel. It's all promoted throughout there. You got fans sitting on the sideline or sitting on the floor. They're screaming at these players, hey, I need you to score 18. Get me one more rebound, Andre Drummond. Lonzo Ball, you're trash. I bet on you to have 6 assists and you don't got it. So even when these players are completely innocent and they're not doing anything that has to do with gambling, it's still forced down their throat. They have to be understanding of what their props are and all of that. Now, I'm going to continue to talk about this because even when, like, I used to sports bet, but I never liked player prop bets. I've never bet on player prop bets. I used to bet on, and this is a long time ago, I would just bet on teams. I bet on, like, outcomes, right? Like, Syracuse beating Georgetown. I bet Syracuse to win by 5. When it got to the player props and they really started pushing that agenda, probably in like 2020, is when I just lost all interest in gambling. They would do things like basically say, oh, you know what? Come to our site and we'll give you a $250 bonus. All you have to do is deposit $1,000 and we'll give you $250 in bonus bets and free credits. What they don't tell you about bonus bets is it's not cash. So you can deposit $1,000. They'll give you the $250 in bonus bets, but those bonus bets you do not get as a cash value. What you have to do with those bonus bets is basically win 1,000 off of the 250 before you can begin to take money out of it. So they'll make you, it's called a rollover. It's called a rollover. And usually it's like 4 to 5, sometimes even more than that times. So basically you'd have to win 1,000 off that 250 for it to have an actual cash value. If not, it's just Monopoly money. It's play money. It's like you going into your closet and grabbing a Monopoly game and then trying to deposit that money into the bank. That's exactly what's going on with all of these different types of, basically all these different types of, what's the word I'm looking for? Free bets that they give you, all these bonus bets. So when we see that, we understand that these players are absolutely corrupt. And then you force it down the players' throats to the point where they can't even avoid it whatsoever. And some people might say, well, are you defending what's going on with all of these people throwing games and everything like that? I'm saying that whether they threw the games or not, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of it all, what happens on the floor is going to be the result no matter what. Whether they throw the game or not, it doesn't make a difference. Whether they make a mistake or they do it on purpose, the outcome is still the same. And that might not make sense to you, but as we continue to go through this show, it will. My other thing is this. The FBI is over here really trying to take a lot of credit, and that's why we looked at, you know, these people right here yesterday, and we went through their press conference. We did this yesterday. We had the FBI director right here strutting out in front of the microphone, acting like he did something amazing. I mean, look at him here.
It's a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones.
So, you know, if you want to look at this, you can go check it out. It's on Associated Press. They have the full 36-minute presser, and you can go ahead and watch it. But for me, it's less that I'm looking at these people like they're heroes. This guy right here on the screen, the FBI director, is not a hero for doing any of this. And the reason why...
Jones and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today.
And the reason why is because, listen, have y'all got involved... Patel, Cash Patel, have you got involved with any of the politicians? Because he'll tote Trump and he'll say, well, you know, the Trump administration, we're not taking any of this. And go ahead and go back 4 years if you want to say, well, Trump didn't do whatever. That's fine. Go back 4 years and the same thing could have happened under Biden. The same thing could have happened under Obama, under George Bush, under whatever, because gambling has been going on for a long time. Even back in the 80s and 70s, they were doing all of these gambling rings and stuff like that and taking out a lot of these high mafia crime boss people. And at that point, it was crazy because it didn't matter what administration it was. So go ahead and look at it from whatever perspective you want. But my thing is this. What about the politicians that are right there at your level that are doing insider trading? It's no different than what the NBA players are doing. Cash. The politicians that are doing insider trading because they get the information first. As a politician, you're privy to know if you're going to do an inspection on a certain business, if a certain business hasn't paid back taxes. So you know that the IRS is going to come down on them and it's going to affect their stock price in a negative way. You know if the FCC is going to get involved in a certain television company. You know, we've seen it all throughout different situations where they have this inside information. They can say, oh, you know what? Netflix has been doing ill practice, or they're going to get in trouble for this or that. So now's a good time to go ahead and short Netflix. Now's a good time to, Netflix is going to get approved because some of this stuff has to go through Congress. It has to go through, I mean, it even gets up to the Supreme Court. But all of these people at the top know what's going to happen. There might be a merger between Netflix and NBC that's going to skyrocket NBC or Netflix's stock prices significantly. And they know this is coming well before the public. And a person like Nancy Pelosi or Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump or his son or, you know, Mitch McConnell, they might go ahead and say, oh, you know what? Let me put 500,000 into Netflix. Netflix shoots up 45% because of a merger with NBC that none of us are privy to. We have no idea this is going to happen because it happens at the top level. And then they go ahead and cash out 1.5 million on their investment, and all of a sudden they're in Netflix and out of Netflix within 4 or 5 days total. And now they're up $4.5 million. So this corruption happens at all levels. So all I'm saying is be an equal accountability person when you're dealing with these situations, but they're not. They're not at all. And I think it's absolutely disgusting the way that they pick sides and they help out their friends and they don't like this person, probably because they're not getting cut in on the action. So now it's something that they want to be involved in. But when it goes back to it, the people that are gambling on this have no reason to be upset because gambling should absolutely be for entertainment. It should never be to make money because that's all it is. Think of gambling as going to the movies and watching your favorite movie. The Super Mario movie is going to come out in April. I'm going to go watch the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I don't expect to make any money watching that movie. And you might say, well, that's not the same as gambling. You got a chance to win. No, gambling is literally the same thing. All you do is make the game more exciting for you when you're gambling, and it creates a whole bunch of different emotions. That's why it's a drug. That's why when we're going to look at Chauncey Billups and what he was doing, it's more of an addiction than it is. Chauncey Billups is no different than a dope fiend when it comes to this because he has everything he needs, but he's still willing to put it all on the line based off of his addiction to gambling. It has nothing to do with anything else. He's not doing it for money because Chauncey Billups is rich as hell. He's rich as hell. I mean, at least compared to you or I, he might not have Trump money, but he's got millions. He should never, ever go broke. He's not making $30 an hour. He probably makes on average like $500, $600 an hour. And he's been doing that for a very long time, almost 30 years. So when we look at that, you know, it's something that we have to begin to understand. And the last thing about the stock trading and insider trading that these politicians have, they should not be able to invest in individual stocks. And I think that would balance things out. The same way that you look at gambling, right? And the stock market, for instance, you know, they should still be able to invest if they want to, but only on index funds. Oh, they should only be able to invest. And that's the whole thing with the player props. So I'm going to relate this to one more thing before we look at a couple of these videos. I'm going to relate politicians investing in stocks the same way that I look at player props and overall team betting. I think team betting is okay at minimum. I think player props are not. So if you want to bet on the Golden State Warriors to beat the Portland Trailblazers tonight, then fine. But if you want to bet on Steph Curry to make over 5 threes, I don't think that should be okay. The same way that I think that politicians should not be able to bet on individual stocks, they should be able to bet on index funds, meaning that the S&P 500, where it's 500 companies all in one stock. So you're betting on Tesla, Microsoft, Netflix, Sony, it's all in one. So you can't necessarily, because even if you manipulate Sony, or you know that Sony's coming out with this new revolutionary product that had to get approved behind the scenes for it to even be able to come out, so you know this product's about to get announced, so you can invest in Sony. If you're invested in an index, I mean, yeah, it'll shoot it up, but only a little bit. But when you can invest in a specific company, that's the problem. So like I said before, when they began to put in player props, I thought it was completely terrible, not only for the players, but everybody involved. And that's where it needs to be taken out, because player props have not always been going on. That's new. Player props are new. It's been new for probably like the last 10 years, I would say. Maybe before that, but really when the app started to get introduced is when you could start to bet on if Draymond Green is going to make over 3.5 threes and all that. So it's completely insane and it's wrong. And everybody involved in this is all equal. The gamblers that are gambling, they would absolutely use this information if they could. They're just not privy to it because they're not at the top. It always starts from the top down. The people at the bottom always get screwed. But sometimes they're just so ignorant to the bets that they're making, or they follow the handicapper that they end up winning. So the game where Rozier allegedly threw the game, if they had the under on all this stuff, they'd be happy as hell. The second they see Rozier limping off the court with a fake injury, they're like, oh my God, I just cashed in. Yes. And even if Rozier is corrupt, they're going to be like, well, I'm just glad I was on the side of the corrupt side. And that's how gamblers look at it. And that's why I'm never, ever going to side with the gambling community or the gambling companies or anybody involved in it. Everybody in this situation is all messed up in their own right. And there are no victims here at all. Now, we're going to go into a couple other things, but that's something that I had to speak about in length without anything interrupting us because it's completely disgusting, in my opinion. Now, the things that Chauncey Billups was doing, and we're going to check him out a little bit, was a little bit different because he was actually like strong-arming people and he was using actual like card readers and all that. But again, I can't take the side of the people that are gambling because they chose to put their money on the line, knowing that you're going to lose it. And the truth is, when you gamble, you have a higher percentage to lose than to win. So if you're ever gambling, go in there expecting to lose your money and just look at it as entertainment, and it'll be a lot better. Let's watch Chauncey Billups as he gets escorted out of the courtroom. We got a couple different angles. Let's start with this one. After he gets released, I don't even know. I know Rozier had to put his house up. Terry Rozier, we'll look at him. He had to put his house up, $6 million house, and he had to surrender his passport. I'm not sure what Chauncey Billups had to give up to get out of jail. So it'll be a little interesting to see what his bail stipulations were. And it's crazy because he's an active coach as we speak with the NBA. So it's, a little bit different for Chauncey. I think Rozier was an active player too, though. Although I don't remember seeing him play recently. All right, let's go ahead and look at one more angle of Chauncey being released from jail after the charges.
Mr. Billups, do you have a comment?
They ask Billups if he has a comment. And this is the problem, right? Like,
Mr. Billups, did you commit the crimes you're accused of committing? Did you defraud victims out of millions of dollars?
We're going to look at some of the equipment that was used, allegedly, within what Billups was doing. Because remember, these two, Billups wasn't necessarily doing the player prop scam. He was in, and he might have been involved in both, but basically what he got in trouble for was illegal poker rings where they were using, actually, I'll just show you real quick. I'll show you what was going on with Billups and what he had going on, which is very interesting. Let's go to this real quick. Okay, we got it right here. So this is basically what was going on with them. So you see this normal looking table and you see the glasses, and they were even using contact lenses where you didn't even have the glasses on. They just put contacts in there. And this is how it looks as you get the X-ray vision involved. So you can see it right there. They know what all of these cards are because on the top of the card, it shows exactly what it is. And you can see that they are able to basically win or lose any hand that they want to. So very sophisticated. I actually played poker one time, and one of the guys that I was playing with, I'll go ahead and get a still of that. Let's hold it right there. One of the guys I was playing with at the poker table, this was at a real casino, it wasn't any like backdoor stuff. It was at an actual casino. And so we were playing poker, and one of the people, all the aces in the deck, he actually, over the course that we were playing, he imprinted his fingernail in it, like, and he actually got caught, like, because they got really good cameras in the casinos, so they can zoom in and see everything. He was putting his finger into the cards and indenting them, and he was an idiot, right? He wasn't very smart, so he got caught. But all 4 aces, he did that, so he knew who had the aces, and he was able to manipulate a couple of hands, and they caught him, and I don't know what they did to him. They just hauled him out, and then we had to get a new deck, and so it took a whole bunch of time, and they were all asking people and trying to see if anybody else was involved. But all he was doing was just putting a small little crease in the card, basically, just putting his indent in there in each 4 corner. So you know if it was the ace of spades, ace of diamonds, whatever, ace of clubs. And they let us know after the fact, like an hour later, they came back and we were asking, well, why do you, grab that guy up and take him out? And, they let us know. So, you'll see the gambling happen all the time. And, if it works in your advantage, then it's cool. If it doesn't, it's not. But it's kind of crazy when you look at it from that standpoint. And, but that's what Chauncey Billups was doing. But the fallout of all of this is that now Chauncey has, possibly disgraced his legacy, and he's put the people that are around him that depend on him in a bad situation, because I'm sure he feeds a lot of people, Chauncey Billups, and his family and everything like that. I think he'll come out okay from all of this. He'll probably be barred from the NBA and all that and be disgraced, assuming that he gets convicted of it. And that's where a lot of the consequences come out of gambling. Like, gambling, you don't win. And I think that's the main thing we have to look at when we look at gambling. I don't think gambling is wrong from a standpoint of just doing it. I don't think it's wrong. The problem is not being able to take what comes along with it. A lot of people can't take what comes along with gambling, and that's why you shouldn't do it. If I gamble, I'm fully expecting to lose whatever I put up, and I'm doing it only for entertainment purposes, not to make money off it. And I think when we have that mindset, it's a little bit better. Because that's usually going to be the outcome. Now, I want to look at, we looked at this a little bit yesterday. I want to look at this video again and just show real quick the fallout that is gambling. And I'll put this in the link again if you missed it yesterday, because we probably won't talk about this at all next week unless something insane happens. So let's look at a video I made a couple of months ago. And in this video, they demonetized it, or limited it, I should say. Because I was talking about gambling and said that I would never promote a gambling company, and I said that they're terrible in many ways by the way that they exploit young men specifically, and then even the women get involved as well, but that's their main demographic. I would think is 18 to 35. We looked it up in this video, actually, what the main demographic was. I don't really remember because I gotta push through a lot of content, but let's look at this right here and see this guy and some of the emotions that go along with doing too much when it comes to gambling. And I think he would have felt the same way there, whether it was $5,000 or $15,000, but he lost $15,000 sports betting. Let's look at what the gambling companies aren't showing you when they got people all happy, flipping money out and showing millions of dollars in their hands like they're actually winning. This is what happens most of the time.
It's one of the saddest days of my life. I just lost $15,000 on a sports bet.
This is not fake, guys.
This is really hard.
He's not faking this. This is not a parody.
I just feel hopeless. I still have money, but the pain of it is so strong. And I just really believed I was gonna win. And I'm just deciding to never sports bet again. I just don't want, I can't handle it. It's too
Never
much.
Again, huh?
And now the only way I can try to make that money back is I'm gonna try to become a TikTok affiliate, but I need to grow.
And he says he's gonna be a TikToker to make back 15,000. Even if he does, it'll take a very long time. I want to look at one more person. Let me see if I can find this one.
And try to inform. But even today, I've lost everything I've put down. Every wage. Sorry, I can't get my words. Every amount that the wages I've got in this job, I've already lost them. And it's not even like 5 days into getting the amount that I needed.
These are all real videos, team. These guys are not joking. I don't know what to do.
Because I've got still bills to pay. And it just gets me every time. And I've had so good helpful comments and such, so I've got to try through it, but I'm just here to say it's never easy.
Yeah, so, that's a couple of them. And I had a whole bunch of these videos queued up, and you can see people just crashing out and ready to, gambling has got people to take their lives, like, honestly. Like, it's not a game. Like, this has really crippled people and put them to the point where you might have saved up $50,000 over your lifetime and did really well. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you lost $500. It's called sunken fallacy syndrome. It's where you cannot stop. You always try to get back what you lost. And ultimately, you end up in a situation where you just lose endless amounts of money. Because you keep trying to recover. You're like, okay, I lost $500. Well, if I just bet 500, I can get back even, then I'll stop. And then sometimes you'll get back even, then you'll bet that 1,000 back, and then you'll be down 1,000, and it just continues to spiral till all of a sudden you're making a $30,000 bet on one game, you lose it, and you're done for. You're ready to jump off a bridge. Gambling is very, very dangerous for a lot of people, and I don't think it's going to get better because we have the machine pushing it to us at a high level, and it's actually working. It's absolutely working. I want to look at a few more things. I want to get into the Kanye situation, but I don't think we're going to have time for that. So we'll push the Kanye thing back until tomorrow, more than likely. I wanted to look at Kyrie Irving, though, and what he had to say about gambling from his point of view and how he deems it as an actual player in the NBA. Let's hear from Kyrie. I think this is about a year ago.
Gambling and sports betting has completely taken the purity away and the fun away from the game at times. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. So, work is work, but the support around it can be very distracting. You know what I mean? There's a difference between being a diehard fan and supporting your team and loving your team versus somebody that's betting on a parlay or somebody that wants to hit. And don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody wasting their money on me. But god dang, this whole community of gamblers that's coming to the game of basketball, y'all tell me what y'all think. Want to gamble? Why don't you gamble on something that makes sense to you? And if you gamble on me, I'm not going to tell you whether it's a good gamble or a bad gamble. I'm just saying, you gambling. You gonna win or lose, but that doesn't mean sliding into people's DMs or wishing bad on them or doing the extra shit that goes on, man. It blows my mind sometimes.
He kind of sound like Kobe a little bit, bro. I swear. Do y'all hear that in his voice? Just this last part. Don't he sound like Kobe?
Bad on them or doing the extra shit that goes on, man. It blows my mind sometimes. You feel me?
I don't know. He sounded like Kobe to me at the end of that. Side note. But yeah, what he's saying is, and a lot of these people that come into this gambling thing, they're not even really fans. They only watch the games they bet on. They don't give a damn about Kyrie unless they're betting on him. They're not even there for any other reason, just to gamble. So these people that are betting on these things, they're not innocent at all. And Kyrie just told you right there, bro, stop it, man. You are gambling. I might make my over, I might not, bruh. Sometimes I'm playing out there and I'm literally just not feeling well. And you're about to kill me, or you want to send a death threat because I missed a free throw at the end of the game. And I lost us the game. Mistakes happen, bro. So you know, you hear from a guy like Kyrie, and, you know, I think it makes a lot more sense to understand what's going on. Now, I think that, where am I at? I want to get in, we can check the Kanye thing out real quick. Let's go into the Kanye thing because I put it on the thumbnail, so I will address it. And then I think we'll end with this, all right? Let's go ahead and do the Kanye situation, and then we'll figure it out. We'll go here on this one, though. Yeah, we can go here. All right. Kanye West on his daughter and the new image that she put out as far as her deciding to change her appearance to look, I don't know what she's going for. Ghetto thug, probably somewhere in the realm of like a Glorilla, Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion kind of situation. I'm not sure.
Family and media tries to promote something. I said, I'm not allowing hey everybody, I just got off the phone with Kim. I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said, it's never again. I am her father. I know y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and media tries to promote something. I said, I'm not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok, to be used by Disney. I have a say-so. And then when people say, oh, they're going to use this for you in court, I didn't have a say-so on whether or not they went to Sierra Canyon. Most men do not, there's no such thing as 50-50 custody with
Sierra Canyon is a very high-level school. It's where LeBron James, Bryce James, the sons of LeBron James went to. So I don't think Kanye West wanted them to go there, but they went there anyways based off of what their mother wanted.
Society today, that's not even, it always leans towards the mom. But right now, and I'm happy that you guys got to see just a small piece of what I dealt with. You understand what I'm saying?
So that was the clip there. And I think I'll react to it at a different time, but I definitely want to play the clip. And there might even be a longer version of it. So I think what I'll do is I'll try to find that. And then we can actually have a whole discussion about this because I think it's very interesting what he's saying. And there's a lot to discuss about it. But under our time constraints, I can't get to all of it. It's Feel Good Friday, so we were not necessarily doing a lot of the really, I don't know, I would call it like the really negative videos, like where people are like violently harmed or anything. And that's another thing, like with all this basketball stuff, like who was actually like really violently harmed or anything? Let's say the casinos got burned out of money. How many times do they burn people out of money? They'll take wagers from you, and you'll make a good wager and they won't want to pay you out. Again, in the video I'm going to link in the description, if you go towards the middle of that video, I'll show actual proof where somebody won a sports bet fair and square and the casino refused to pay them. Literally. They refused to pay him, and then they got mad and kicked him out the casino. It took him weeks to get his money because they were mad that he won millions of dollars. And when you win at a casino, if you win a big bet, and I've done it before, like I've won at casinos where it's like over like a certain amount. I don't like talking about money, but I'll just say that I know this for a fact. When you win, because it's happened to me, when you win over a certain amount, they'll need all your information. Oh, they need your social security number. They need your ID, your passport. They want a sample of your blood. I'm doing that for effect. They want your DNA. They want to know your mom's maiden name. But no, like seriously, they need your social security number to pay you. If you don't give it to them, they won't pay you. If it's over a certain amount, and I've hit that amount before, they will not pay you at all. They'll hold your money. And then even then, they give you all the attitude in the world, and they try to, you want to bet it back? We got a good game tonight. You want a hotel? We'll put you up. They offer you hotels. They offer you free food just to stay there so you continue to bet, because they know if you keep betting, you're going to lose. You're always going to lose if you continue to bet. The best thing to do if you're a sport, I'm not even going to give you advice. I'm not going to give you advice because I don't want you to do it. Personally, I'm not promoting sports betting at all, especially this new wave of sports betting where you can do it from your phone. That's the one thing you never want to do. When you can sports bet from the convenience of your phone, it's too accessible. At least going to the physical casinos a little bit different. You want to take a 3-day trip to Vegas, you're more than likely not going to lose as much money as you would if you can do it in your pajamas in bed. I don't know, man. This whole gambling thing, it's deeper than just Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier being arrested. It goes so much deeper, and people are sitting here talking about these two as if they're the people that need to be demonized, but they're not even looking at the gambling companies. They're not looking at the insider trading from politicians, and they're over here just, it's so bad, y'all. Anyways, positive story of the day. We're going to go back to a more recent story because I want to end on this because we've been doing this the whole week. So we're going to end on these two. This one is actually, if you look at it right here, I'll pull it up like this. I want to show you the actual date. So if you can see this is 10 months ago when this was put out, okay? So this is the grandma and the teen right here that this story was first debuted like 8 years ago, and they continue their tradition. I think we discussed this around like Wednesday, but I want to look at it one more time just to cap the week out, all right? Check it out.
When Wanda Dench accidentally included a total stranger on a text telling her grandson what time to show up for Thanksgiving dinner. 17-year-old Jamal Hinton answering, "You're not my grandma. Can I still get a plate though?"
I went over, we've been over every single year, and here we are today.
For 8 years.
Yes.
It's been more than a friendship.
I felt like almost ever since the first year, we were a family.
We spent hours, remember that, Jamal, in a restaurant.
Yep.
Talking about everything under the sun, and there was no generation gap whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so because of him, I see things a lot different.
They text, talk, and get together, lean on each other.
She's someone I can call, someone that I can go to with my problems. She'd help me sort them out. Someone I can go through to with like my happiness and my pride and the good things I have going on in life, and she'll make me feel even better about them. She's amazing.
They've been through highs and lows. Wanda lost her husband during the pandemic, and earlier this year, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
It's been a journey. It's been an awakening for me. I see some things different. I see what's more important now than what used to be. And now I appreciate every day.
Is this friendship one of the things you appreciate?
Oh, you better believe it. Jamal taught me so much about friendship.
Jamal and his girlfriend, Michaela, have supported Wanda through her treatment.
I was uplifted every day. I was always getting a text message. How you doing? What's up? What can we do for you?
And last month, when Jamal posted a special message from Wanda about her diagnosis, more than 8 million people saw it.
I feel like that's something that we could do, is just have everyone just in support and love.
They were so positive and so wonderful. And what I love the most is some of the messages came across as, "Hey, Wanda, thank you so much for your message. I'm going to go get my mammogram now, and I'm going to, because of you."
Wanda is feeling better, but this year, hosting Thanksgiving would be a bit too much. So for the first time, Jamal is planning to host Wanda. What's on the menu, Jamal?
So we're going to have someone make the turkey. We're going to have someone do a fried turkey, a smoked turkey. There's going to be, I think, 3 different turkeys, and then everyone's going to bring like their own like favorite side dish.
Love it.
Good food, good conversation. That is the best.
A holiday all about gratitude.
Jamal will always be a part of me, part of my family. Once in a while when I call him, I try to give him some like advice on something that he's, going through. And yet he gives me even more wise advice than I give him. So I'm very, very grateful that he's in my life.
I feel like if I've never met her, that I'd have like a piece of me missing in a weird way. I would have never known what that piece was, but I feel like that piece of me is filled. So I'm just happy that we got to meet and that we share this bond that we have now.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and this story really does something to me. I mean, there's just a lot of points that I could talk about on this. I really like the point where she said that, and you look at her and she looks way different now than the first story that we watched. So if you want to see the first story on this, go to Monday's show, which would be the first show this week, and then look at the end of that video. I always do these at the end of the video so they're easy to find. And look at how she looked 8 years ago, and look how he looks 8 years ago. Like, he has a different appearance. And so she said now he actually, because he's had 8 years of growth, 9 years of growth, And now he's become to the point where he can give her advice. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. And what should happen with the younger generation as they begin to get older, because you're supposed to keep up with everything going on. So the older people teach you as a young kid, but then as they get older, they begin to lose a step. And then you're able to keep them up, right? You're able to give them that step back and keep them in a point where they can begin to lean on you for help. And that's exactly what he did. He's the encapsulation of how things should go and how things should operate. We live in a very crazy, weird world now where everybody's out for themselves, and you know, kids don't want to help out their parents. Assuming your parent is good, you should always be there for your parent, like, you know, and or parents. But that really touched me, like, you know, just the fact that he is looking out for her now and giving her advice, where before it was her giving him advice, and he used that advice and basically snowballed it into something where he was able to give back to her, to where now the student becomes the teacher to the teacher. And he hosted Thanksgiving. The first Thanksgiving she was hosting, and now she's at a point where it's a lot more difficult for her to put everything together on her own. And he said, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got you now. I'm in a position where I'm doing well, and I only got to this position because you put me in a position where I could do well by helping me all of these years when I was trying to figure it out and I didn't have anything. Now I got a business. Now I'm successful. Now I got a family, and I want you to come and be a part of my family, whereas originally you allowed me to become a part of your family. And everything that you're going through, I'm going to hold you down. And the reason that she has that is because she had compassion for the youth, and she actually cared about him. And I think it's bad because now nobody wants to have kids, and everybody thinks that, you know, the youth are all evil and all that. But I'm telling you right now, if you are getting into older age, or if you have the opportunity to help somebody that's underneath you and you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're actually hurting yourself in the long run. I don't know. I could keep going on about this, but this story right here is absolutely a feel-good moment, and I think you should take some of this that you've heard and bring it into your weekend and try to figure out a way that you can make it work. Like for me tonight, you know, I'm looking forward to taking some kids to Halloween events. I get actually some joy out of it myself, but also, like, you know, I always want to do things for the kids. Like, I think it always starts there. I don't necessarily care about adults in that way. I really care about the youth. I care about how they get a chance to perceive things, which is the reason I never do any debauchery or anything negative around kids. You just won't see it. Even to the point where, like, I'm not even super affectionate when I'm around kids. Not from a stand, I mean like sexual affectionate. Like, I don't like do a lot of kissing and stuff around kids and stuff like that, just because I want them to be able to have an unskewed perception of reality and different things like that. So, you know, the most I might have is maybe like a drink or something like that, but I don't smoke anyways. But if I smoked, no kids would ever see it. Like, my kids have never seen me smoking. And, you know, even if they grow up to be smokers, it's like, I know that I didn't put that influence in them, and I taught them the right way. And I allow them to be kids. I never try to put them in the role of adults. That's the one thing I never do with children. I never try to get them to do adult things. And we're seeing that more and more, where adults are trying to get their kids to be adults, right? They're trying to hang out with them like they're adults as well. Instead of doing kid things, they're having them do... Listen, I gotta go. It's the weekend. It's the last show, so I don't even want to go and be away from y'all for the whole weekend. I might end up doing a Saturday show. If not, you'll get standalone videos. But regardless of the fact, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are incredible. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm DotSale, and I'm out of here. I be having a lot of fun doing this, though. I be having a lot of fun. And we're getting better every single day. Every single day we're getting better. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at be a part of